Hello, everybody out there. Hello, fellow star seeds. Welcome. We've got another exciting podcast for you today. We've got Janelle Ray with us, you guys. This is so exciting. She is an energy healer, just like me. And just like me, she does it in all kinds of different ways. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about frequencies and just other things that Janelle would like to share with us on how we can help ourselves, better ourselves, center ourselves, all those good things, like to get us to the point where we need to be. So, we'll just get started here. So, how long have you been doing this, Janelle?
I have been working with energy for 25 years.
That's she knows her stuff, guys. Look at that. Yeah, you go, girl. So, do you have your own business where people can come to? Is it online?
Yeah, yes to both.
Yes,
I
no.
do some in-person events. I took a group. In-person is so fun. Like I love it all. And in-person just has that other layer of what we get to explore and connection, right? So
Yeah.
we did an in-person on the coast, on the Oregon coast.
Oh, that would
This,
be pretty.
yeah, it was the first of April. So that was just fantastic. So I do some of that. And then I live on a ranch. And so I bring small groups to the ranch. And this ranch it has some huge rock formations on it. It's just a real special place as far as energy goes and some unique vortexes. And so I do some work here and I have all the animals. So I've got the horses and the sheep and the wildlife that just kind of hangs out with us here. So I get to bring, we get to connect and ground in some really beautiful ways here. And then the virtual
Okay.
classes where work with me type classes. Yeah.
Yeah. That's me and my business partner's dream is to have to get that piece of land and we're like, okay, your tiny house is over there, mine's over here. There's like a common area, but it's also a healing center. So it's
Yeah.
like all in one. And we have a farm and like the whole thing. So people
Yeah.
eat healthy and yeah. So one
That's
day
so cool that you said the tiny home because that's what we live in. That
I
is
love it. Right now I live in a motor home because we travel a lot. So
oh cool.
tiny home kinda, but
Tiny home
I
on wheels.
yeah, tiny home on wheels. Like let's go see this and let's go there. So that's the mode we're in right now. But yeah, I love tiny houses. Perfect.
Hmm.
Yeah. So when people come to you, what are they normally asking you help with?
Yeah,
What's
it's
like the most common?
the most common, and they can have a variety of ages, a variety of vocations. That is just across the board, just all sorts of variety there. But the common piece is I really, really want to know who I am. I know who I am at certain levels. I know who I am in certain places in my life, but how am I working as an intuitive? How I want to connect. This is what I see. How do I interpret that?
Yeah.
And so I find a lot of the people are asking me that. It's like, okay, I'm highly empathic, and my experience with that is that it overwhelms me. I'm picking up everybody's stuff.
Yeah.
I
I
can't do
am
large
literally an
groups.
emotional, empathic, like you can't tell because I, I won't show it on camera, but I am not having a good time right now.
Yeah.
It's one of those times for this empath.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, how do we decode what's happening, what we feel, what we're experiencing? And some of the folks that are coming to me are saying, I've done the mind, I've done the personal growth work, and that has a place in our life for sure.
It
So this
does.
isn't a statement of putting anything like that down. I've done the mantras, it's like, yeah, good job,
Yeah.
mark that box, be proud of it. But why am I still struggling?
Right.
Why am I still bumping up against this ceiling? And I'm really ready to move past. Or I just moved past that. Why am I feeling so overwhelmed? All my senses are just exploding and I'm overwhelmed. So what we're doing is we're saying we're being called right now, and I know you've been sensing this too. The intuitives in this world are going, we're being asked to work and move in a different way. We have
Yeah.
led with our minds for so long. And there's been several, Einstein's been quoted. If he really said it, I don't know, but he's
I'll
been,
know I'm a history nerd.
okay, you'll know. I'll say it, you say if it's right. So it's like, you know, let the lead with the heart, lead with the intuition,
Yeah.
and and this is a Janelle paraphrase, and let the brain be the caboose. Like
Yeah.
the brain has a role, it
Yeah.
has a role, but we're designed to be here.
Yeah.
And shifting back into how that feels. And there was an indigenous individual that was sharing on a podcast I was watching. So I don't have the details of who he was. I just remember this stuck to me. I went, oh, that was profound. He said, we have a saying. He says, our life isn't, he goes, what's our journey? It's the journey back to the heart. Our
Yeah.
life is a journey back to the heart.
Yeah.
And
I
so, and
love
so
the
what's that?
native. I have native in me, so I I don't proclaim to be Native American because I don't have enough of it, but I've had enough past lives with them. Like it
Mhm.
runs deep in me. Yeah, I spend a lot of time at Native American sites around
Yeah.
America. It's very relaxing, it's very healing. Every time I go to Chaco Canyon, that's in New Mexico, if anybody doesn't know. Um, that's like one of the most powerful places for me because I have past lives there. Um, and when I meditate, I even go astral projecting there. I just go there, like that's my spot. So,
Mm,
yeah,
nice.
I love everybody. It's very important when Native people, no matter where they're from, tell you stories about either aliens and UFOs or herbal remedies that will help you or legends that have happened. Like those stories are real. Like you need to pay attention to them. Like these are wise people
Mm,
that have been around for a long time.
mhm.
Yeah. So I
That's
love
good.
getting any information from natives. Like go send me to live in a jungle with some tribe in the Amazon. I would be like, give me all your knowledge. Let me just hear your stories. Yeah, it's
Yeah, and there's really
perfect.
a drum that they're beating and have been beating energetically for the last few years, hasn't it? I think I know
Yeah,
longer than that, but we were sitting in it with a group of healers, and I was projected to Mongolia.
nice.
And we said there's a beautiful group of healers there, isn't there? That energy is
Oh,
so
yeah.
amazing. And it was a tribal group, council group of ancient healers. And we were
What?
sitting around a campfire, and they were, doing their medicine. It was beautiful, but it was a global healing. But I feel that that's a group, like you say, past life
Hmm.
within the earth itself. There's a drumbeat
Yes.
happening that's supporting us in our personal awareness
Yeah.
and connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is. There really is. And anytime I can take advantage of getting around Native people, I'm like, I'm there. Because I'm like, I just want to listen to every word you have to say.
Mhm.
Because to me, that's where the truth lies, not in, you know, obviously what the government has ever told you is the truth about stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I want to
Yeah.
listen to it from somebody who's had ancestors that have lived for thousands of years. Like,
Yeah.
what's the truth here? Yeah,
And the pieces
definitely.
are in us. You said, I have a piece of Native American in me, and your connection to that's really, really strong. And this is a time I'm observing for myself and for just talking with you and other people that we're feeling, those that have joined us, you may resonate with this, is that it's about getting back to knowing
Yeah.
these pieces. We have so much wisdom in us. There's ancestral wisdom that's been collecting within our DNA and our energy DNA
Yeah.
that are pieces that are so authentically us. And it's like, okay, now's the time. What is that? Where
Right.
is it from? and what's in there? What can I learn? What can I bring into my life from that? And
Yeah.
that's the it's the time. It's time to decode and connect to that.
Yeah. And I always tell my clients or on a podcast or whoever it is, I'm like, your brain, yes, it stores knowledge and can gain knowledge and help you learn and all of those things, but it's literally there to run your biotech body that is housing your energy. Your energy is your memory from all time.
Yeah.
That is your knowledge point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and if people are like, no, I don't know about this past life stuff, whatever. It's since I'm a history nerd, I kind of put it to him this way. It's like even if you don't like history, if you're just one of those people who are like, this is boring, Um, but somebody you're always interested in some kind of part of history. And from my experience, when I do Akashic Records readings for people, that is because they lived a past life through that.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
even if it's just like a little liking, a little curiosity, but they're kind of into it, I'm like, you were there.
Yeah.
You were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
totally. And then your interest is, I feel like that's such a great way of saying it. It's your interest. It's the your body's way, your energy's body's way of getting your attention. It's like, hey, I
yeah,
want you to focus here. Like
right.
pain can do that. So okay, so a story. I'm a dyslexic with an auditory processing disorder. And I did not know that until I was studying. I was living and working in Russia when I was 23 with an Australian roommate. I was part of an international team and we were building shelters for street kiddos and just doing this type of work. We were invited into the schools to teach English. They liked the American accent. So that's what we did. It was awesome. Anyway, so I'm studying the language, and my roommate says, "Read that, read it again." I said, "Are you trying to kill me?" She goes, "No, read it again." And so she said, "You just read it three different times, three different ways."
Yeah.
She goes, "You didn't read it, and I didn't know." She goes, "Are you dyslexic?" I said, "I don't know. I just really stink at this." So when I was little, I grew up really rural. My father was with the Forest Service, so we were up in the mountains, and I just was surrounded by bear, elk, deer, some moose, bobcat, cougar, the domestics, horse, sheep, dog, cat, occasional bunny rabbit. This was my happy place, and I just this as an intuitive, as an empath, animal communication is totally normal. Like that's don't
Yeah.
ever doesn't everybody do that, right?
Yeah.
Raven, everybody does that
Everybody does that.
till you land in school. And then now
Right.
everything's linear, everything's
Right.
in this box. They're not
Yeah.
speaking to this perceptual
No.
kiddo.
And they don't help. The education system does not help kids. One, they're not getting a good education, but two, the lighting they have them in, the type of buildings they have them in, it's very uncomfortable in there. It actually sets kids with like autism off.
Yep.
It actually causes them harm and discomfort. And they're not taking the time to teach kids to focus on themselves and be listening to themselves and
Mhm.
taking them out in nature
Yeah.
and just reminding them of all of those things. It's literally just like how many math problems can we cram down your face today?
And
You
this is
know?
what, right. Here's
Yeah,
your red ink. And I
right.
remember the curse of the red ink. And as I'm not getting written word because
Mhm.
my perceptual talent, we don't understand typically what dyslexia is. It's just a visual spatial, it's an ability to see three-dimensionally in the mind. When working with symbols, it goes to hell.
Yeah,
When working with objects and visualizing, a lot of us intuitives have an element of this spatial awareness talent. And I had it in spades, and it came out in dyslexia for me in the classroom. So I started shutting down who I was because it was causing me, without knowing, right? It was
but that
causing
happens to kids. Yeah,
so much pain. We don't
yeah,
understand it. So fast, I used to just pray that I would get healed because I was so broke through the lens of this little kiddo. fast forward, I'm now a learning specialist. One of the hats I've worn is I'm a learning specialist working with dyslexia and autism and ADHD and all the different forms in between. And in that study of really I want to know what's going on. I want to know why.
Mhm.
I'm understanding my why. And I realized at the point of the biggest pain is my biggest gift. And the pain, we see pain, I need to heal, I need to heal. Yeah, probably maybe from some perspective. There's some stuff, there's some baggage, there's some trauma. Absolutely. That's ready to shift, whether it's this life and or past life and it's echoing now. Yes, but it's there to cause me to see. It was such an aha moment when I realized this was just what 5 or 6 years ago. I finally got this lesson. Underneath that pain, Janelle, is your biggest gift. Go there, stand in that pain, and just bring so much light into it and love into it till you see it because it doesn't come easy and it doesn't come fast. And that I ugly cried. You should have seen it. It was ugly cry. But it was like, oh my gosh, this is who I am. And I
Yeah.
was just trying to fit these boxes that made sense to me at that time. But I am this person that can see. I can see into the body. All these gifts started being clearer. I started
Yeah.
to get, and so our journeys are so interesting, aren't they, Raven? Because
They are.
as we heal, we get this clarity about who we are. And as guidance puts the pain in our spot, our life, it's like putting a marker, dig here, the
Yeah.
gold's here.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you were growing up, um, what did you know that you had gifts? Like, I don't know if you're psychic or if you're a medium or anything like that, but like me as a child, like I was constantly screaming and crying that there's a monster in the closet, like
Mhm.
literally because there was a monster in the closet. And my mom didn't. My mom
Mhm.
and my dad both had these gifts too, but because of society, they were turned off. And then because of religion, they were turned off. Like you
Mhm.
had to fit into the box, like don't deviate from the box. So
Yeah.
they grew up in that generation, so they never really tapped in fully to their gifts. So as a child, I was completely in this alone and getting attacked by spirits and all kinds of crazy things. And like, yeah. And I tuned it out for a while, like as a teenager and a 20-year-old, but it's kind of like
Mhm.
you just go through that phase in life where let's have fun. And that was that. Um, but once I got into my 30s and I obviously married somebody I shouldn't have married. So as soon as I got out of that and swore I will never do this again, and I haven't. But yeah, I got divorced and then that was the first time that I could actually just focus on me. Like
Yeah.
I literally didn't even date anybody for like 5 years
Mm.
and I just focused on me because I tell all of my friends and people that know me, not that I'm mean, but I tell everybody like after that divorce is when I became mean because
Yeah.
before it I was the empath of I just want to please you, I just want to calm you down. What can I do to make it better? But yet I'm married to a narcissist, so it's never going to get better.
Yeah.
So yeah, so after that, I started focusing more and more on myself and unlocking more and more. Like even today, I'm still unlocking more gifts that I have that I didn't know of before.
Mhm.
So it's very important if you guys have any kind of abilities, everybody has abilities actually, by the way, you just tune them out, but our society teaches you to tune them out. But you have to take time for yourself and know yourself and love yourself. That's like foremost and number one. And it took me a really long time in life to learn that lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it does take time, doesn't it? It takes time to grow into that
Yeah.
and peel away the layers. And the layers are there to teach us. So thank you, layers. Um, but yeah, I am a psychic and a medium as well. And I remember the first time I was told, "Oh, Janelle, you're a medium." It scared the bejeebies out of me because I grew up in a church scenario surrounding as well. And that is witchcraft.
Yes.
And
You don't go there. No.
you don't go there. And that was and that's just, it was all the taboo. It was like fear laced. And when I was training, one of the chapters I was writing in my journey in my life was I'm a professional horse trainer. And I started when I was 17, but I put that hat down, I put that book down, picked it back up again. I got to travel, like I shared. I was in Russia and some other countries working and exploring. Um, awesome time. And came back and started training professionally again. And that was what woke me back up again, the horses.
Yeah.
Those horses gifted me because I attracted outlaws. So half my clientele were 2-year-olds and they just wanted to get them started. Wonderful. The other half were horses that are kicking, biting, and lethal.
Yeah.
And the people, the horses, I would free move them in my arena, and I said, "Oh, you're just biomechanically off." And in my gift and perception, I could see
Mhm.
that, oh my gosh, you're just biomechanically off. So I found three ladies, a vet gone Eastern medicine, a horse chiropractor, and a body worker who we now call an energy worker, but no one's talking energy. This is 25 years ago.
Right. No, nobody was talking about that then.
Nobody's talking
No.
energy. And so here I am, and I've got my facility. I built an indoor arena, and I've got my facility, and I'm taking these horses out of pain, is what I'm doing, Raven.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh my gosh, you were like you got like a super talent with these horses. And I said, well, okay, thank you. But basically I'm just taking them out of pain. And yeah, then we can rewrite and do some training. But the horses showed me I could see. So the things I shut down, the ability to see into the body, the ability to move stuck energy. I didn't have names for this stuff. I
Yeah.
didn't know I could pull stuff out and put stuff in and get the meridians flowing in the right direction and get the chakra. I mean, I didn't know what any of that was called, but the horses were opening my eyes and they would just sit with me. And I
Yeah.
had this one gelding that would take my hand and he would put it on the body where he said, okay, you're close, girlfriend, but you're not quite there. And he would put me there and he
Yeah.
would position himself, so my training ground started with the horses as my mentors, and they were opening this up. It was scary as heck. Was it when I realized that this is my life, this is real. I was doing it with people, I was doing it with horses, but if I spoke out, I would be literally alone.
Mhm.
Nobody in my circle
Yeah.
talked like this, walked like this.
Yeah.
It was it was crazy.
Yeah.
And I said, for me to be me, I have to leave. And I was
Yeah.
married to a pastor at the time.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, how about that, girlfriend? And so
Add more danger onto that
I
sucker.
know, right? And I love my experience with source energy. So that doesn't change, but the box container,
Mhm.
holy cow,
Yeah.
will never be in that container again.
Yeah.
And when I divorced, because that just wasn't going to work, it wasn't compatible. I
Mhm.
was not accepted in that space anymore. And my biggest fear was, where am I going to do and how am I going to survive this? Because literally, I lost family, I lost my friends, I
Yeah.
had nothing,
Yeah.
and I jumped. But when I jumped, my life really began.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I I tell people all the time, like sometimes you have to burn the house down and then
Yeah.
rebuild it, which
Yeah.
is like easier said than done, of course. And I'm sitting in that weird place right now in life, just like, what am I doing here? Because I
Mhm.
feel like I'm wasting my time because I'm trying to build a business and I'm trying to get more clients. And like, I'll just say it, I'm a badass at what I do. And I know that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Mhm.
And so I'm getting very, like, the last decade. of my life has literally been a living hell. I lost my mom in the most like horrific way just because she was very, very ill and very, very frail. And then I took care of her on hospice. And just as an empath, sorry, I'm an empath. I cry a lot. Us empaths are leakers, you guys.
It's all good.
But
Yeah.
yeah, like it was just because I didn't want that for her. And so that was really hard. And then after, for whatever reason, the universe has literally just been kicking my ass and filleting me and slaying me and ever since. And I'm still trying to get it to calm down. And I'm still so now like in the last couple of weeks I'm just like, what am I doing here? Like I wake up in the morning really early in the morning and I teach English to kids all around the world and adults.
Oh, cool.
And I mean, which I love. I love teaching and I love connecting with those people and I definitely love the kids, but I know that's not what I'm supposed to be doing. And
Hmm.
so I'm like, I'm sick of wasted time and like everybody sits there and says, well, you just have to go with the flow and the things that are yours are going to come to you and like all of those sayings. And I'm like, I'm so exhausted in life right now. Like, I can't even play that game. I'm just to the point of if you want to help me, then get in here and help me. Otherwise, get out.
Yeah.
So, like, everybody, I don't know if everybody, I'm speaking for myself, but because I'm such a strong empath, when things like this go on and on and on for a very long time, it it takes me out emotionally, it takes me out physically. I have pancreatitis, I get inflammatory responses, I get hives, they move. They were all over my face all the time after my mom's death, and now they're down my spine um and on my elbows. But and I asked my business partner because she's a hypnotherapist, but she's an herbalist as well. And she just knows, she's incredible. She just knows everything about the body and what different triggers and stressors cause this to happen in your body and why and where. So I was even asking her last night, I'm like, why are my hives moving? There's got to be a reason for that.
Hmm.
And she said, well, when they were on your face, you were dealing with an identity crisis. And I was. And now they're all down my spine. And she's like, you're in a place now, like things that happen on your spine and especially your lower back. She says it's because you're in a place of fear and scared and you don't feel safe. And I'm like, well, that makes perfect sense. Like she's just amazing like that, my business
Mhm.
partner. But yeah, people need to realize that the things that we go through not only affect us emotionally, but show up as physical ailments as well.
Yeah.
And you don't need to run to the doctor for every little thing that happens to you because those drugs are really bad on you. And if you can
Hmm.
figure it out a natural way and an energetic way, or even taking some herbs and things like that to
Hmm.
help yourself out, that's at least that's much better for me. Like the
Hmm.
more I've found that I've like gone on this ascension journey and the more I'm like changing, the less my body wants anything to do with medication, processed foods, like anything like that. Like it doesn't want anything to do with that. So what works best for me is like herbal remedies and Reiki and
Hmm.
doing all of those things.
That's so true. And I'm resonating with that as well. I've noticed that because one of the things
Oh, buddy.
we are experiencing right now is our identity is in the gut space. Our
Yeah.
identity
Oh
is
my
our
God. Oh,
root,
it hurts. Mm.
right? And it's asking to be, and everything's frequency.
Yeah.
Foods, frequency, herbs, everything is frequency.
Hmm.
And it's like this part of us wants to tune. It
Hmm.
wants to tune to the ascended part of the earth. The earth ascended a few months ago. It ascended.
Yeah.
And we are shifting like crazy
Yeah. We
with it.
are
And we're
definitely.
seeing the chaos show up. We're feeling the overwhelm more now than the last 6 months, more than we have for a while, even a lot of us for the last year. It's like because so much is shifting, when things shift, it stirs the globe.
Yeah.
It creates a feeling of chaos.
Yeah.
Um, so the gut is asking us to raise the frequency, be
Yeah.
mindful. Like a lot of us are feeling like not eating as much and
Oh,
eating
I
very
haven't ate
specific.
hardly anything for days. But then again, my pancreas has been so sorry guys, I'm drinking my tea to calm my pancreas down on camera, so deal with it. Yeah.
Bottoms up. Health to the pancreas. But so, yeah, it's so interesting how our body, and if we were to look at this from a medical perspective, we would say, oh my gosh, this is what's wrong with you. These are what our treatments are going to be. And I know there's a place for that for some folks in their journey. But for intuitives, it is really something to think about. It's like, oh, that's my body talking to me.
Mhm.
Like you were saying, they showed
Yeah.
up on my face, they showed up on my spine. My body's telling me, it's
Mhm.
talking to me, right? It's talking.
Yeah.
Um, and that's huge. It's learning how to decode and understand
Mhm.
what's happening. I had a big, so I'm business building as well, and I did a big push. Let's see, this last week I just launched all sorts of stuff, and the overwhelm, I couldn't even think, and
Yeah.
it pushed all my buttons
Yeah.
because I'm
Yeah.
shoving through a ceiling, right? I'm like, okay, it's time, sis, let's do this. And and pushing through the ceiling. And those moments of pushing through bring the feelings of unearthed.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, okay, and I walked myself, I sat out in the pasture with the horses because that's where I think and ground the best.
Mhm.
And I just sat out there with them and I said, oh my gosh, I am so full of fear right now. I'm so full of just, I can't even think. I'm just overwhelmed. My circuits are going tiki 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 tiki. And I went, okay, no, 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 no. In the past, that meant bad. Right now, it means, thank goodness, I am shifting planes. And it takes pain. It feels and presents as pain as we shove through to that next level.
Yeah. It's and with all the planetary shifts and all of the alignments, and it's the new age of Aquarius. I mean, I have to work so hard to tune out the earth because, well,
Yeah.
it's we'd have to get into my Akashic records. That's, I've done that already with people on the podcast, but um, like I have a very, very long galactic history, and I had a part to play in making this earth and the things on it. And so it's literally like a daily crisis for me to just try to shove
Mm,
everything out that's going on in the world because it's just
yeah.
and I'm a Libra, so we don't do that. I'm like this is out of balance and this is all wacky and we like we're
Yeah.
like no. I don't play that game. But
Yeah.
the earth is out of tilt is out of normal tilt for people to it's basically keeping people stuck in the 3D, the way that the Earth's tilt is right now, and it's shifting. So
Mm,
the Earth is shifting too, just like
mhm.
we're shifting. So it's taking a toll on a lot of light workers and energy healers. A lot of my friends are struggling. I'm struggling trying to figure out just what to do next. Like what is this and where can I put my foot down in this and grab hold of something and yeah, So it's a very strange time, but I try to remind everybody like, okay, let's think back to the 60s, right? When the first age of Aquarius happened. Well, at
Mhm.
least for my generation. Um, like things were chaos. People were waking up and saying, I don't want that life where I'm being forced to get married and have kids and go get the house and the picket fence and the things and be in the little box. And like, no, I don't want that. And they started that movement. And then of course the whole Vietnam thing pissed everybody off in America. It's just like, no, this is not right. And that was like the first time since probably like the Civil War that Americans were like standing up to the government and saying, screw you, this is not right. And it was a, and the Black Power movement and them trying to get their rights during that time and what was happening to them. I mean, the whole United States was just a chaos, just chaos. And so I try to remind people, like, remember that back then, like, it wasn't easy. It was not easy for those people at all. So sometimes it might have looked like, oh, like lovey and dancy and flower power and let's go to Woodstock, but it, the things that they were doing were not easy.
Yeah, right. It wasn't, was it? I think that's a great comparison and not focusing on the chaos. Because if we focus on the chaos, we will magnify it. What we focus on, we magnify.
Yeah.
Focus on where's your peace? Where are you learning now?
Yeah.
What is your space doing now?
Yeah.
And there is no limit to what we can grow to. You said in the beginning of our conversation that your gifts are here and you just keep getting and they just keep expanding.
Mhm.
And I have been shown through guidance that we're just tapping into the edge
Oh, yeah.
of what's possible.
Yeah.
So these movement times are such huge opportunities to allow the shifting, move stuff out,
Mhm.
let stuff go, be in a space of surrender, and don't get hung up on the trauma and the drama because that's 3D. We
Yeah.
don't need to see what's going on there. Not that we're oblivious, we just don't need to ingest it
Yeah.
so that we are connecting to the bigger picture. We're
Yeah.
a part of the intuitives, we're a part of a collective. And as we focus deep into ourselves, we're healing ourselves. We're also healing for the whole. So the shift and channeling in massive amounts of love energy puts grease in the gears. So without love, it's metal on metal trying to shift.
Yeah.
With enough love energy, with that frequency of love, love transmutes
Mhm.
and it's greasing the gears. So
Yeah.
we get to support and bring this shift in and usher it in quicker, smoother with connecting. Raven and I connecting today. We're connecting with all that you that joined us here. We're connecting together in a love space and just connecting and touching. We're channeling that love energy in and grounding it deep
Yeah.
purely by being together.
Yeah.
And that causes the shift to be smoother, faster, and it activates us.
Yeah.
There's no accident we got to meet today. There's
Yeah.
never an accident, right? Raven so knows this too, right? Your energy body, my energy body knows exactly we're on time and
Yeah.
it knows what to do. So when we sit here together, things are shifting within the
Yeah.
collective. Those
Well,
that got
that's the
called
thing,
to
guys.
you, right?
Like I've never met Janelle. We're both on heallist.com with our businesses listed there.
Yeah.
You can message each other and say, "Hey, what's up?" and
Hey.
just, meet other practitioners on there. And I don't just invite people on my podcast, and I've never met you, never talked to you. We were
Mhm.
just messaging right there and I was like, I just
How
knew.
about
I
her?
just
Yeah.
knew. I'm like, she's got to be on my podcast.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those things are amazing. And I even in the darkest times, like I'm in a pretty dark spot right now in my life, but at this, like I told my business partner just the other day, I'm like, the only things that I'm getting joy out of right now is any kind of animal interactions I have, just because as a kid, and I'm pretty much an animal whisperer because I turned to animals instead of people because I could never count on people. People hurt me. So I was always with animals and I've always
Mm.
been with animals. And so it's like if I go take my dogs for a walk and there's a ladybug, I'm like, oh my gosh, the little lady. I'm like talking to the ladybug and what are you doing? Like that's right now, that's the things that bring me joy.
Mm.
And it's funny that you mentioned about your horses because the universe keeps telling me that I need to go find a horse. And my best friend sold her horses, and I don't know anybody else with horses. And I'm asking around, has anybody got horses? And I just haven't been able to find one yet. Um, but just to kind of release a lot of, not that I'm holding on to it and focusing on it every day, but just the pain and just because horses, like elephants, like whales, like they are
Mm.
healers too.
Yeah.
And but I just haven't found that horse yet. Poor horse. She's gonna be like, oh no, what's coming at me here? But no, horses love me. But yeah, and even just little things like that, even though it's kind of a dark time, I'm just like, that's anything that brings me joy. Animals have always brought me joy. So
Mm.
people will just look at me like I'm nuts, and I don't care. I just be who I am now. I'm like, I'm 51 years old. I just don't have time to care
That's
what you
right.
think.
Who cares?
Yeah. So I'm like outside in the campground and the crows and the ravens are out and I'm literally like talking to them
Hmm.
and I feed them and we're like communicating and people are what the heck is what the and I'm like, go away. These are my people. This is my gang right here.
Yeah.
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 So you have to be yourself. And you could always tell people that are just authentically themselves because those are the people that will be just like either talking to themselves, like I talk to myself all the time, like I think out loud in the store, or they just are doing funny things all the time and they don't care what people think. Like they just walk their own lane. And I
Mhm.
love those people because I'm like, that's me. I just walk my own lane and I'm like, I don't care if you like it or not. If you don't like it, then go away. Yeah. So it's important when you're like going through this journey to first find yourself and love yourself and say, it's okay if I want to go outside and talk to the crows and make the neighbors think I'm nuts. Who
Mhm.
cares?
That's
And
right.
just do those things that you want to do. Listen to yourself and listen to your body and find those things that bring you joy and just do them no matter what people think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that authentic freedom, isn't it?
Yeah.
You.
Oh, I cannot be controlled.
No.
I
You
in
have to
my soul
fly
contract
in.
for this earth because I have a very long, long story. We can get into that another time, but I literally wrote it in my Akashic records
Mm.
that I would be born on an Aries cardinal blood red moon because I'm a Libra and I knew I was going to be attacked from the time I was an embryo because of my universal story and who I am.
Mm.
And I was. I I almost didn't make it into this life. And then after I made it into this life, I, was not healthy. Um, but I put that moon in my soul contract because I knew I was gonna need that like feisty fight, like get in someone's face if I have to, because that's not a normal Libra trait. We're kind of like, just can't everything just be peaceful and quiet and calm because that's where we live.
Mm.
So yeah, I had to write that in there to save my own life.
Mm. Interesting. We must have been on journeys together because
Oh, I'm
my
sure.
part of my fractal, the energetic side of me, was part of the earth creation as well. So when you said that, I said, "Oh, interesting." And
I would love to read your Akashic
I'm
records.
way ancient. I'm way ancient.
Yes, I know you
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, I was part of the Stonehenge. I was part of the
I was
Goddess
there.
Energy. Were
Yeah.
you there too? Yeah, I
Mhm.
was there, a part of the Goddess Energy. Um, I did a travel about with another healer, and we were called to heal these different places. I started in Colorado, so in the Four
Yeah.
Corners area, and then we went to Shasta, and then
Me too.
we flew to Stonehenge and to England and did Glastonbury, and we were just
Oh,
guided where to go,
oh my gosh.
and we did these
We are
healings.
twins.
I know. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, okay, I
This is
think, wow,
crazy.
we have journeyed together before. This isn't our
Oh,
first meeting.
woo, having deja vu now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely not our first meeting.
No.
And okay, boys, there's a car. We're not going to bark. Nope. You're going to settle down about it.
So
Sorry.
we're here intentionally, we're here on time. We connect with the collective. We're learning to understand who we are, remembering and activating. Being together activates those that are on the call are being activated. Your struggle is about what just came into my head, is about birthing. What is being birthed? You work beyond the planet. You're as much galactical as you are earthbound.
Yes, I have literally said that I am an alien since I was a child.
That's the truth. You are
Literally,
as
like
much
I am more alien than I
galactical.
am human. And I
Hmm.
have a very, very hard time living on
Hmm.
this planet. I have
Hmm.
massive hard time.
Yeah. Yeah. And a
Yeah.
strong, yeah, you're
And
strong.
in my
Ancestors.
Akashic records, and it's hard for some people to understand what I'm saying just because of mostly religion and what gets stuck in people's head. But um I literally tore time and space to be here at this time and place
Mm.
and made a soul contract to come here. But through the years, I've always heard, literally heard, someone calling me Mother Earth all the time.
Mm.
And I had to figure out what that meant. And I'm not saying I'm like the mother of the entire earth and I did everything like a god or something because it was a collective process.
Yeah, it was.
But
Yeah.
I
Mm.
know what that means now. And
Mm.
I part of what I'm doing here is relinking ley lines and power spots, cleansing areas every time I go hiking or go on a journey or anywhere I go
Mhm.
somewhere. I call in ancient spirits that used to live there, the natives that used to live there, the elementals. I work very well with elementals. I bring them in and I'm like, heal this land. I know you don't like what's going on. And
Mhm.
yes, there's going to be people still trespassing on this sacred land, but you need to heal it and hold it. And I
Mhm.
link them back together.
Mhm.
So when I travel, like when I went to Mount Shasta, I'm I'm just gonna say all kinds of crazy things on this show. It's not crazy, it's true, but I'm the link to the portal from Andromeda to here.
Mhm.
I am Andromedan mostly, but a lot of
Okay.
other things too. But
Yeah.
I'm the link to the portal. So literally everything in my life spins counterclockwise. I cannot put a hose on to save my freaking life because Andromeda
Mm.
spins counterclockwise.
Interesting.
So I had to link the portal at Shasta
Mm.
and which linked it to Sedona and then which linked it to Chaco. So those places that I have to link that portal from Andromeda to
Mhm.
here, I'm doing that. And it's a very weird sensation. I don't even know how to explain it. Like up here everything's counterclockwise, but down
Mhm.
below everything's moving clockwise.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's very strange. I'm kind of the master of portals, um, but
That
I
makes
also know
total
that,
sense to me.
yeah,
Yeah.
frequencies open portals.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, so there's that. So
And
I'm
it's
the
cool
link
that you
to
said, because
Andromeda.
you went from, you said Sedona, and we started in just not far from there, just into the Four Corners, is just a
Yeah,
hop,
it's
skip,
not.
and a
Oh, yeah.
jump. And that's the same line. And when we
Hmm.
were there, I saw the Giants, I saw the Guardians,
Hmm.
and then the Lemurian. We surfed like the Lemurians as I drove in. We drove in because I was with my friend, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I am seeing Lemurians surfing,
Yes.
like wind surfing
Yes.
right here.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. But it was part of what year were you there? Because this is so connected.
Oh, this was just last year, actually.
Okay. So we were there going on, so this year would have been 3 years ago. Well, time has flown. And what we said and what we were called to do in that space, it just makes so much sense that you were called to do that. Because what we saw was we saw the Lemurian and the starts with an A. Oh shoot. The Lanteans maybe.
Atlanteans, yeah.
I'm thinking there was
I'm
that
a part of the
conflict,
Atlantean system. I get
and there
pulled
was the
down to it all
healing.
the time.
Okay. And there was the healing between. We were merging. Talk about being looking crazy. We were on the beaches doing where they had us dancing, they had us pulling energy
Mhm.
down, and we're like, okay, people are
Yeah.
watching. But it was the healing and the releasing
Hmm.
of that is a hot spot. Everybody's known it and
Yeah.
felt it. But it's like it's the healing of the hot spot, though. It's the resetting of the grids
Yeah.
that got distorted and
Yeah.
misplaced.
And
Yeah.
that, just so you guys know, since I've been to Shasta, there are so many portals and gateways in Shasta.
Yeah.
And yes, there is a city in there, and yes, there are universal beings in there. That they're not all Lumerians. There's Syrians in there. There's Palladians in there. It's a whole functioning city, and it's linked to Sedona. The Grand Canyon is the library of the earth. It holds all the information. I actually know the librarian. So as I've gone through this journey, I'm getting to know like different people and their like big time roles and what they're supposed to do around here. So I got to meet her. She's a good friend of mine. Um, just all of those spots are just, and anytime I go astral projecting to Chaco Canyon, that's where I feel safe because I had some past lives there, but plus I love the energy there. But a very elderly, wise man, medicine man, healer, shaman comes out of a cave that's there in Chaco Canyon, which is a portal. Like I would have to open it to actually go through it. You wouldn't be able to see it. But he comes to me every time, and I know he is a grandfather in another life. And he does smoke rituals on me and different things like that. And it's just a magical place. And I connect with the Hopi a lot. Not that I've ever been able to speak to a Hopi native in this lifetime, but I know them from past lifetimes. Um, so I was around I was a member of the Anunnaki, the original seven. I like I've got so many past galactical lives, it's mind-boggling. Like I keep getting your Akashic records, by the way, you guys, they never stop. The information never stops coming. Like you don't just get one Akashic records reading, like, oh, okay, that's my story. Like once you start to understand that part of it, then it just keeps going. I have notebooks and notebooks full of my story. So it never stops coming. The knowledge of your past lives and your energy stores, that information never stops coming.
It's so fascinating, isn't it? It is
It's
amazing. It's just
crazy.
it's a book that, like you said, it unfolds
Yeah, it
to discover who we
definitely
are. Yeah.
unfolds. And I don't know if you experienced this and just to get somebody else's perspective on it because I was telling my business partner the other day, I'm like, you know, ever since I really just dug in and went down this road and I started kind of in my 30s and said, this is who you are, girl, you might as well step into it.
Hmm.
Like, and it's not, this is going to come out really wrong to everybody, but like literally ever since then, my life has been kind of a living hell.
Hmm.
And I've always just feel like something's trying to kill me. And then when I went back through my Akashic records and was meditating one day, just because of what everything that went on with my mom when she was pregnant with me, and I saw myself as an embryo. And yeah, they were trying to take me out. So I don't know if anybody, do you experience any feelings like this, or am I just like off the chart here?
One of my healing sessions, I was actually in my mom's womb. And one of the things that was wanting to be seen is I was struggling. I was stuck. I was literally stuck in the canal and I was dying. And I was just like, wow, so I was in a healing session and I was doing, we're doing through the pieces and where was a timeline clearing, but I got brought back to that place. And it was actually my mother. So I was healing generational. I was healing
Oh,
generational pain. And I was telling Mom, did I get stuck? And so I was telling her about this experience, and she goes, no, that was me. I almost died in my mother, and I didn't know, in my mother's belly. So the fear was embedded in her, which passed on to me, and it was my opportunity to heal
yeah.
that pain. Yeah.
Yeah. After my mom passed um, a year and a half ago, I, she was with me and she always kind of had like this death grip on me in life. And I'm just a free spirit and I don't like anything controlling me. And so it would cause us to butt heads. And not that we didn't get along and have fun together, but we would butt heads a lot. And I, even after all of that I went through, I literally like had to tear her from me and
Hmm.
make her go get healed
Hmm.
because she died the way that she did because she was married to a very like not that her life was easy before. She was always with crappy freaking people and whatever and but she was married to a very nasty abusive person for 32 years and by the time like thank goodness he died before she did so that I could have time with my mom. Not that it was good time, but I had time. But she literally, I'm not exaggerating, had no muscle, no flesh. She was a walking skeleton.
Hmm.
And it's because of what life put her through.
Hmm.
And she was a very big empath too.
Hmm.
So like you guys, it's really important who you share your energy with. I cannot stress that enough. To have borders and boundaries and do not let people in your life that is going to drain your energy and take away who you are because it will kill you. Like I tell people all the time, I'm like, just because you're an emotional abuser and you didn't put a hand on me doesn't mean you're not murdering me because
Yeah.
you are.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Huge.
very interesting. But she pops in now and then and I have to make her go back. I'm like, "No, no, no. Like I need you at your full power because I need you. Like I need you to realize who you are." And I
Hmm.
can feel those shifts going on for her, which is good. but
Okay.
it's hard. That was and I felt her pain when I ripped her from me and made her go away, and I was like, and it just killed me. I was just like, but I had to because she was still stuck in
Hmm.
this earth life. And yeah, and as a medium, I'm like, no, you're going through that portal and you're gonna go get healed. And I just try to remind her all the time, like, you're not gonna lose me. I'm right here. And that the problem with that is she was a member of the Mormon church, and
Mm-hmm.
in that church, if they have like these temple ceremonies where you get sealed to people, and they literally believe if you're not sealed to your family members once they die, you'll never see them again. And so that was another fear of hers, and that's why I had to rip her from me, because she's literally afraid that she will never see me again.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been a year. I, I'm just to the point where I like I can't take any more of this crazy crap. I'm like, I just can't. I need some peace and quiet for just give me just a little bit.
Just a
Something.
moment.
Yeah. Like this has gotta stop. So yeah. And as a medium, what do you normally get as a medium?
It works a few different ways. I can channel persons, loved ones, if that's for the highest and best at that moment. And I can talk to past individuals, future individuals. Um, I can I can channel, different energy sources, if it's Lemuria or Palladian or whatever, that I can channel different um energies, which is kind of a form of medium. To me,
Yeah.
it feels like it's coming through in a similar way as the other kind of medium. I do set boundaries, and we can do that. I loved that when I learned that boundaries is so important. I don't want to deal with anything that's of low frequency. I don't want to operate in fear of it. I just don't, that's not my space.
Yeah.
So I set boundaries. I say I only speak to that energy which is of love
Yeah.
and from the love space. But I can see individuals. So my mediumship works both visually and auditorily
Mhm.
and or knowings. I have knowings. It comes through as knowings too. It does harmonize with the psychic bit, and I've really learned that we're always learning, which I love. But the psychic bit was so confusing, and one of the elements for me that made it confusing was it was running from a fear space, and it took me forever to figure that out. It was looking for the thing to keep me safe, and
Yeah.
it was just like, oh, safety, safety. Well, that's a fear-based frequency. That's not a love frequency. So
Yeah.
I dug inside myself and I'm like, okay, where are you? What was in my heart space? And raising and shifting that energy in there. And then giving the gift of psychic an intention. It's like I don't want to micromanage you, but we're now going to shift to a love space. I don't need safety. I'm
Right.
looking for opportunity. I'm looking
Right.
for, let's give you a different job. So I've gotten to learn how to direct, not micromanage, like I said, but direct through intention to align, like, okay, this is me. All you gifts align with me.
Yeah.
They were kind of scattered all about,
Yeah.
and I didn't realize it. And they probably still are a bit in other ways as I learn. They tune in, don't they? We tune them.
Yeah.
But I have noticed a shift. I noticed a shift in my ability to navigate. Like I use it as a compass. It's like, okay, I'm not afraid. I have nothing to be afraid of. So, show my intention is to see. My intention is to see opportunity. My intention is to see if I'm guiding somebody. My intention is I'm just channeling what are their guides wanting them to know. I'm bringing both the medium and the psychic in together to what do they need to hear. Um, because it's not up to me, is that it's up
Yeah.
to their guides. But
Like
that's how it's working for me.
my my business partner's always asking me why she can't see them. I'm like, you can. You just don't want to, because she's got
Yeah.
all of the gifts. And um even yesterday, this has happened to me a couple times in public. It embarrasses me because people are like, what the hell? But because I'll see somebody, this happened to me just yesterday at her house. I walked in her house and I was like, whoa, because there was a guy standing right there. And she didn't see him. And she's like, what? And I'm
Interesting.
like, who the crap is that? And
Uh-huh.
yeah. So just things like that. And I feel like I'm almost ready to walk into somebody because there's a person there. But
Yeah.
yeah. And people, I've found that my clients are always like, I'm scared because they're a medium. Like I don't want to
I
have
feel
like
it.
negative spirits and that and whatever. I'm like, you're living in a negative chaos world. Like it's already in your life. And
Mhm.
negative entities are created by people.
Mhm.
If you want to, like, if I wanted to create a demon right now, I could, because it's in your mind. You can create that. It can come to life just like a PK manifestation. If a teenager is going through a lot of trauma and craziness, and then all of a sudden things start flying around people's houses and weird things are happening, it's your child is making that happen with their
Mhm.
mind because they're creating an energy because they're going through something. And I've almost done that a couple of times and had to have other psychic friends of mine say, you got to calm down because this is happening. And I'm like, "Ugh," you know, like we don't want to do that. So I've cleansed people's houses for them. I have dealt with skinwalkers. I actually don't have a big to do with skinwalkers. Like I just stay in a neutral place. They're part of the elemental family. They do they don't give off like the best energy, but it's not necessarily negative. But they will like F with you. Like
Mhm.
they're kind of reading your language and your energy. It's like, are you gonna let me in to F with you? Or and I'm just like, mm-mm, you're staying there. And so even skinwalkers, I'm just any I've just I don't know. I don't have any fear in that way. Probably because I've had like the biggest, nastiest group of universal beings out there literally come through dimensions into my actual living space
Mhm.
and attack me. And
Mhm.
that was the scariest thing I have ever been through in my life. And
Mhm.
after that, I'm just like, like, what are we
That's
getting into?
yeah. Is that all you got? Huh. Okay.
Like, okay. But not that I would go hang out in some old mental hospital because, but I know that I'm too much of an empath to be in a place like that because I would feel everybody's pain that had lived there. But I know that I have the capability if I didn't have that handicap, that I could just walk in that place and clear the whole place of negative energy and release all of those spirits. But because I'm such a big empath, I feel all of their pain. And then that takes me away from being able to clear out the joint. And I always tell people that are mediums, I'm like, I'm sorry, but even these paranormal ghost shows and things like that, I'm like, you don't take something that has already been traumatized and is stuck somewhere in a very negative situation and egg it on and make it feel like crap. Like, this is an energy that
Mm-hmm.
lived a horrible experience. And it
Mm-hmm.
is your responsibility to surround them with love and get them out of that place and send them to the next place. That's why you're a medium.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not to just get it on video so you can make a million views on YouTube, you know?
Yeah.
Like, those kinds of things really annoy me about people, but yeah.
It's the misunderstanding, isn't it? There's just so much there's just a misunderstanding of what is energy and how are we energy and how are we connected and interconnected? I mean, we can see it how we treat the earth.
Yeah.
We have disconnect. We don't get energy. We don't get our connection to the earth, to the plant life on the earth, to the animals on the earth, how we interconnect energetically working together. I mean, we're working together with all of that all the time. And we don't get, through the lens I look through, we don't get energy in itself. And like you said, when we're called to channel that love frequency in, to bring in those vortexes of love so things can shift,
Yeah.
have that calling. Um and it's not to be in battle with. If I start to battle, I'm in the wrong place.
Yeah.
If I am, in a sense, there's times when we hold our ground, so
Yeah.
we don't want to say we're passive, but I'm not here to push against. I'm here to channel love, and love shifts.
Yeah.
We underestimate, I think, as a general sense, I think we underestimate the power of that frequency and the
Yeah.
ability for things to heal. And
Yeah.
healing means being able to let, I remember a prison of entities that were trapped under a religious establishment, but it was tortured souls.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not a part of that. I don't join that. I
Yeah.
stand on the side and I channel
Hmm.
what Source has to heal and let those go back home. Let
Yeah.
that be free. Let
Yeah.
that. So, getting the perspective of, I found that healthy for me when I realized, let's step out of that. Oh, I'm in a fight here.
Hmm.
Hmm, I'm in a channel here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I I I'm definitely in a fight or flight mode right now,
Hmm.
but like I'm trying to stay focused on the positive, and it's just yeah. But I'm like, because even I talked to my friend and my business partner. I'm like, I have this podcast coming up, and I'm going through all of these things, and I'm not in a really good headspace, and I don't know if I should cancel it or if I sorry, I'm a leaker,
Mhm.
or if I should do it because I don't right now. I don't know if I can say anything positive about the universe because I'm having a really hard time. And and then she's like, "Okay, go home and just meditate." And whenever I meditate, I just leave this planet and go astral projecting somewhere because it's more comfortable in the universe. Um, but I was like, no, I'm going to do it because I'm going to learn something here.
Mhm.
And I'm going to do it because I want to show everybody that because when you see people's social media and whatever's videos they make, like people like us that are healers, they only put out the good stuff. They only like sit there and do your kundalini for this amount of time every day and on this day and everything's beautiful. And I'm like, that's not the truth.
Not the
That's
look
not the
all the
truth.
time.
Like
Yeah.
I've been bawling my eyes out for
Yeah.
weeks and
Yeah.
shaking and crying and screaming and like feeling like why am I here? Like it's
Mhm.
not all like that all the time. And so I'm like, no, I'm gonna do this podcast, even if I am saying things that, put people off because they want the happy story all the time. But I'm like, it's not.
Not always happy.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
real and raw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we're gonna do this and whatever comes out of it, then that's what comes out of it.
Mm. I'm so
So
glad you did. I'm so glad you did. Celebrate you, Raven. That took guts. That
yeah,
took
I was
guts.
like, and whoever you have standing by your side is like I can see them. Like that they are always with you,
They're massive.
whoever that is.
Mhm.
Very, very protective of
Mhm.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you got fairies around you too. I could see all the fairies. I
I've
have
got it
fairies
too.
around me all the time too. I carry sprites with me,
Hmm.
and sometimes they get fired up and people around me, like I have my one friend would always put like if she had a hoodie on, she was like putting her hood up and like huddling down because they when they hit people and even me, it feels like a little like like a little like electric shock, and I
Hmm.
see them all around me, but sometimes they get really fired up because I'm fairy too. So
Hmm.
yeah, you have fairies all around you. So like the more connected you are to nature and animals and elementals, like the more fairies you're gonna see around people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm an elemental. Yeah. Yeah.
definitely. So you work
Yeah.
with frequencies, which I've been getting into. I mean, obviously, I've used frequencies and listened to frequencies to meditate and different things like that. But um, like even modern medicine is finally saying like frequency healing is like of the future. Like, yeah, duh.
Yeah. Right. I know. About time they
Right?
caught up.
Yeah. Um, but how do you work with your clients with frequency?
I use, so one is teach them how to create it. Our body is frequencies. So, and energy healing is just basically tuning our bodies
Mhm.
back up. So, create that. How do you create that in your hand, and how does that look for persons? So,
Yeah.
that's one of the things. How does your body want to create frequencies? Is it through light language? Is it through your hands? Is it the combination of so many different things we can do? And then, me personally, I do the frequencies through light, through the light language, through the my hands, through intention, through channeling different light sources throughout the universe and dimensions to pinpoint. So if we're physically healing the body,
Mhm.
um, I've got a ewe that I'm healing her knee. We're healing her knees. So bless her. She's been here to help me learn. Um, and so we can channel in and make them like I have a frequency, they say a frequency gift to those that name this kind of stuff. So I just create different light beams
Mhm.
and channel it into the different places I can feel either need charged up or uh, get into the cell and activate the cell like a laser. I
Mhm.
can mimic in my body a different modality, especially if I've been exposed to it. So when I was training full time, I bought a cold laser. It was a for the time a pretty nifty unit that I could carry with me and had a head on it, and I could melt bone spurs and things in the body, the horse body with it, and take out inflammation. And it beautiful. I got kicked in the ribs one time, one treatment, and the hematoma was like a grapefruit on my rib cage, and it just took it totally down, like within 5 minutes. So if I'm exposed to things like that, I can mimic that in my hands and project it into what I'm treating. And I'm just channeling that frequency basically.
Do you
And
hear the frequency?
I can. I'm
Okay.
more of a sensor
Okay.
in that space than I am a hearer. I can hear frequencies, but it's more channeled. Like I take a step back and I'm really not relying on who I am in the physical form. I'm relying on who I am in the energy form. And therefore, the channel can just be a lot more straightforward, less congested.
Yeah.
It's a cleaner frequency. Um, yeah, it's more of a sense, I think. And I can see, but it's really the seeing is more of a still from the sensing
Mhm.
gift side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the thing, you guys. Even though we're talking about technically sound, and I can hear the frequencies. I go out in nature, I can hear the frequencies of the trees, of the grass, of the like, but I can also feel them. So just like you can feel if a negative energy walks into your space, you could feel it. So
Mhm.
different frequencies, then there can be negative frequencies too that can harm you. So yeah, you have to it's really cool once you start just sitting and listening, just out in nature, just sit and listen. And then I'll literally start hearing all the frequencies buzzing around me. And it's literally like an orchestra. It sounds like
Mm.
an orchestra playing a song.
How cool.
And even when I meditate, sometimes I listen to the sounds of Andromeda Galaxy,
Mm.
and I just listen to the sounds from that galaxy and I hear a symphony in there.
Mm.
So it takes practice and you have to just kind of like hone on into each little thing, and even to hear your own frequency.
Mhm.
Like I can hear my own frequency now. So it just takes practice. And that's the thing about everything in this work. You just have to practice and be willing to just dig in and not be afraid. Like, I'm going to go there. I'm going to find out what this is about. Like, let's go find out. It kind of takes like a no fear kind of attitude to know that I'm going to be safe. Nothing's going to attack me because I'm not going to let it. And we're going to go find this out. So, yeah, I love that. And frequency is such a fast healer. I love that you use that with your clients.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'll play frequencies in the background, like on Spotify or whatever. Um, but as a Reiki master, I can read somebody's body clear down to a cellular level and tell them everything that's wrong with them.
Mhm.
Like I had a client, and I kind of treat my clients like HIPAA. I don't talk about them because a lot of their story is very personal, it's very private. But he I was doing Reiki on him, and I was over his heart chakra, which he has a lot of like emotions stuff to deal with too. But I was like, if you don't get to a doctor right now and get your heart tested, you're a heart attack's coming for you.
Mm.
Like I can feel it. And he at least took my advice and went to the doctor, and he's like, yeah. And he had like a blocked artery. So
Wow.
I could read people's bodies to a cellular level, and then I can do the energy work to try to reverse some of that.
Mhm.
But then again, like the person that you're working with has to want that to happen. Like I
Mm.
can juice them up with energy as much as I want, but if somebody doesn't want to change, then they're not going to change.
It's not going to shift
Yeah.
now. And
Yeah.
there's some things that are ready to shift now, but not going to shift till later. Like
Mhm.
there's things that we don't control.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're allowed to heal what's ready to heal now.
Yeah.
And that's what is we're being called to step into that. Like you're stepped into it, I'm stepped into it, and those that you're listening, you're being called to step into it even deeper than you've ever stepped into it before, because we're to use this to heal ourselves. We're to use this to know how to heal ourselves. How do we heal our families? How do we that heals into our communities? This is something to learn. It's the time to step into that ability
Mhm.
and learn that ability. Yeah.
Yeah. And like me and my friend, our ultimate goal is just to have that all encompassing, like healing environment, like piece of land where people can come for retreats and different modalities and have different people there. And
Mhm.
like, because different things work for different people.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
You got to find what works best for you.
Yeah. And it'll come in different combinations.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not, healing is a team sport.
Yeah.
Healing is a team sport. Yeah.
Yes. And I try to remind people all the time that even though you don't know these people all around the world, you've never seen them, you've never met them, as soon as you're raising your vibrations and raising your frequency and descending up through dimensions and out of the 3D, you are connected to that giant spider web of collective consciousness of those people that are trying to make this world better and heal it. Whether
Mhm.
you see them, whether you feel them, they are there. And you're adding even more power to that grid.
Yep.
So you're part of a gigantic collective consciousness. And different, there's a collective consciousness for negative too. So
Mm.
you got to like pick a side.
Yeah.
Pick a side. But yeah, it can be very scary going through this process. And did you find that like I've found that my everything in my life shifted. Like the people that I want to hang out with, the things that I want to do, the things that I want to eat, the things that I can be around. Like everything shifted in my life. And did that happen for you?
For sure. It was
Okay.
total um, redirects. And
Okay.
like that divorce was a complete reset
Yeah.
into another path, totally another frequency.
Yeah.
And then when I get another layer of healing and awareness and activations, it shifts again. And some people stay
Mhm.
and some people don't. And that and it is scary. It's really has its moments of bleeping hard
Right.
to yeah, because you're letting go. You get to accept it. It's like this is a flow. And it's like some people will step out of your life and not because you did anything wrong.
No.
It's just they journeyed for that time and that's good. It's
Yeah.
complete. It's been
Yeah.
completed. And and then now you're on another plane. Yeah, for sure. For sure,
Yeah.
Raven.
I
Hmm.
literally, after my mom died, even my best friend, like we've known each other in many, many past lives. It was just one of those things where as soon as we saw each other, like I've known you for like a gazillion years.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
when my mom died, she did not show up for me. And then there was a whole bunch of other things that went down with people in that situation. And I I'm not like I told her, I'm like, we will get our friendship back when you can like look at yourself and understand why you did that. I know why it happened and I already forgave her for it, but I needed her to recognize it.
Mm.
I mean, I'm talking not even a phone call.
Mm.
So I had to go through that and then I literally dismissed everybody in my life. Like me and her are talking again. Like we're not close like we used to be because it's just not there yet. And I still have this like I'm keeping you over here because you
Mhm.
put so much pain on me. Um, but I cleared out everyone, every single person, and it's so hard to be completely alone and I feel lonely and I feel scared and I'm dealing with all of these things by myself and then I met my friend Jen and she helps me a lot and I help her a lot is kind of like we were talking like we're twins like we're literally going through the same thing. We have
Mm.
literally crossed paths in past lives like multiple times and we can talk about it. Like if you and I just talked on the phone, I bet you we would be like, remember that time in Rome? Like,
Mhm. Exactly.
whatever. But so she came into my life and so literally I have one friend. That's all I have in my life and my babies. And people will look at that and think it's like pathetic or sad or whatever. But I had to clear all of those people out of my life because it was not good for me anymore.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
they they hurt me and they didn't they weren't there for me and they weren't benefiting me. And it's like even if it was like like a friend acquaintance. Like sometimes you hang out, but you don't really see them that often. Even those people, I had to get rid of everybody.
Yeah.
So I never tell people that this is an easy journey because it is not.
Mhm.
It is not. And you're going to have to make a lot of really hard decisions, and it's going to impact people around you. And, but yeah, you got to get rid of what is not good for you in your life. So, yeah, I burned down the house.
You
I
burnt out.
burned down the house. Yeah, yeah, that was crazy, crazy times. Is anybody in your life like just been like, what is this and who are you?
Oh yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah. There's been a lot of that, and I just keep shifting. I'm
Yeah.
finding so much freedom in shifting that I'm like, you're either in or you're out. Be blessed, be full of love, and I'm moving.
Yeah.
I am moving and shifting because I got purpose
Yeah.
and I like being on fire. I
Yeah.
like being on fire.
Yeah.
And but yeah, there's so much. Yeah. I was like, I'm like a little echo here. But if there was any thread of judgment, I'm like, be happy, go find your people, but I'm not one of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I did a lot of that too, because it's like I just, I'm not asking to be understood. I don't need to ask
Yeah.
anybody to understand me. I
No.
don't need.
I understand me. I don't need
I
you to understand me.
understand me
Yeah.
better than I ever have
Yeah.
before. And I'm so excited about it that yes, it breaks my heart. And there's moments where I really gotta just have a good cry and get real with that. On the flip side, I'm like, wow, am I glad I cleaned house because
Yeah.
I don't want anything waiting. I don't want any guilt, no shame. I don't want none of that in my
Yeah.
space. You're
Yeah.
going to be in my space. None of us are perfect. It's not about perfect. It's not about that energy.
Mhm.
It's about, I'm going to accept you where you're at.
Yeah.
I'm accepting me where I'm at, and this is where I'm going. And if you're on my path, I am so glad you're here. If you're not on my path, you're on your path, and that's perfect.
Yeah.
They just may cross or not cross. I
Yeah.
just, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
and that.
And you have to, as hard as it is, even like with my best friend and that situation that happened, you just have to let people go on their
Mhm.
paths, on their journey. You don't
There,
own anyone.
no.
And you just have, like, as hard as it is and as painful as it is, you just have to say goodbye
Yeah.
sometimes. And it's
Yeah.
not that you're throwing people away like they don't matter. If somebody came to me and they needed help, of course I'm going to help them,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to let them back in my life, you know, kind of thing.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's just very, what's like the biggest challenge that you've had to go through?
Hmm. The biggest challenge was thinking I was stuck in that marriage.
Hmm.
Thinking that I had no way out because what was I going to do? What's the other side is so the unknown, and it was just this dark hole.
Yeah,
And how would I ever survive out that in that space?
right.
Because I knew the cost. I knew
Yeah,
the second I stepped into who I am authentically, the cost was incredible through
yeah,
the lens that I stood in, right?
yeah.
Hindsight, I get a whole new perspective, but the levels of rejection
Hmm.
that I felt at those moments ran deep, and it was a pattern. It was a generational pattern, but it was actually a karmic pattern that was hindsight asking to be seen.
Yeah.
And I had that deep level, and it went clear back into the days of, so some of it was epigenetic and some of it was karmic through the energy patterns. But we were in the 100-Year War, the epigenetic part of us, and between the French and the English, and we were French,
Hmm.
and we were tortured and we were burnt and there was just 100 years of fear and pain. And we were kicked out of the country at the end, and we were put on a boat to the Americas, the fourth boat, whatever that one's called. And we were put on a boat to the Americas. so we endured all of that, and my guts were like rock when that finally let go. But it was all tied to that deep rejection, deep uprootedness, deep nowhere to belong. It was so deep. There's no words in our language to describe the pain that exists in that space.
Yeah.
And so that was my biggest journey work piece.
Yeah.
It was pivotal, and it was incredibly intense,
Oh, I
um,
bet.
and
Yeah.
several layers to it.
Yeah.
But when it left, when that finally was able to shift, and it took lots of layers, there was lots of layers to that onion, but the shifting of that shifted the lens and how I perceive everything. And that's the beautiful thing about energy work. It's like I have a lens, and the lens that I hold is through energy that I'm in right now. So when we get to keep healing and keep removing and loving and setting down, and all the layers that we get to do that in the Akashic record work is beautiful work, the lineage work, and all these pieces we get to do, then our lens shifts. And so that which was really painful before is just allowed not to be there.
Yeah.
My lens, the glasses I wear now, are just simply different.
Mhm.
It's just
Yeah.
beautiful. It's just amazing.
And I, me and my friend keep having this conversation. My business partner, I just thought of this because you're talking about your glasses and just different little things that can go wrong with you health wise or whatever. She's like, and I know it too, just because it's in my energy, it's in my knowledge of my energy. Like,
Mm,
we can heal ourselves,
yeah, we can.
literally. We just
Mm-hmm.
have to remember how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You can heal your eyes and have perfect eyesight. Like,
Yeah,
we just have to remember how to do it.
yeah.
It's there.
Mm-hmm.
The knowledge is there. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
It is. It is there. Totally agree with
yeah.
you.
And I would love to talk to you more. Like, we can obviously do this over phone or email or whatever, but like, just I think that it's being impressed upon me at the moment that not to become like business partners or something like that, but we need to do something
Hmm.
together that's like, I don't know, it's like an event or a something or I don't know, but there's something that we have to do
Okay.
together
Okay.
is what I'm getting. So we'll have to look
Sit
into
with
that.
that. Okay.
Yeah, we'll
All
have to
right.
meditate on that and figure out exactly what it is for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you said, as soon as we were chatting on heal list, I was like, I've got to have this person on my podcast. Like, I know this person.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so that was amazing. And I'm so glad that you could come on here today and just
Yeah.
remind everybody that there is help out there and you don't have to run to a doctor every time something's wrong with you. And all these medications they're giving you is not helping you. It's like keeping you stuck in this 3D madness. Like, I'm not telling people not to take your medications. I am not a doctor, but like, pay attention to your body
Yeah.
and all these medications that are being loaded on people. Like, pay attention to your body. And you can even, I don't know what the machine is called, but I go to a wellness center here where I live, and they like, I have to hold the metal thing in my hand, and
Oh
she's like
yeah.
touching me with the sensor on the feet and the
It
hand. I
does this readout. Yeah.
that thing, I don't know what it's called, but she even scans like any medications I've been to prescribed. She's like, your body hates this. No, this one's really good for you. Even the Aquaphora that I put on my face, she's like, yes, that likes that. Like, like, don't just listen to like the doctor says, just take these pills. Doctors are paid to promote pills. Like, go to other places first and try to figure it out on a natural basis first is
Mhm.
what works best for me. And I have found anybody that's in this space, it always works better. But I'm just going to speak for myself, but I always try to go a natural route before I poison myself with
Yeah.
pharmaceuticals.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
that's very important because pharmaceuticals will dim your pineal gland, it will dim your energy, it keeps you stuck in this chaotic 3D world.
Mhm.
Alcohol is very bad for people, especially the way it's made now. It's not even like pure alcohol we're talking about now. It's literally you're poisoning yourself and
Mhm.
it dims your energy.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you just need to pay attention, listen to your body. Very, very important. And if anybody ever needs help and you can s- say all you need for your business as well, I will work with anybody for free if you need help and you cannot pay me. I will trade with people. Fine.
Mhm.
Bring me a chicken from the store. Cool. Let's get this on. Like, but so don't be afraid to reach out and ask. Like,
Mhm.
I will help anybody. Just call, just email. My contact information is everywhere. So, how do you feel like that about your clients?
Yeah, I love to connect with people and just, hey, where's your questions? What's
Yeah.
your questions about who you are, how things are working for you? Do you want to start clearing this out? How do you begin? You want to ask questions? Let's talk. And a good way to get a hold of me is through my email, and that is at janelle@janellerae.com, and or my website, which is janellerae.com.
Okay.
So website's janellerae.com and email is janelle@janellerae.com. So reach out. We are good at getting back to folks, and we love to hear from you. We love to just talk things out. Let's get you started
Yeah.
and
And
connect with
you
you.
guys, I will get all that information for you and have it in the description of this video so that you can get in touch with her for sure. I would love to have you back on again anytime because there's so many things that we could talk about and get into. Like,
Oh,
I feel
yeah.
like this conversation would be never ending.
We can really go some fun places.
Oh,
Let's do
yeah.
it. Let's
Let's
do
do it. This was so much fun, Janelle. I'm so glad that you came and were here and just brought your beautiful energy and it's made me feel calm because I have definitely not felt calm all week. So I thank you for that very, very much.
it.
And yeah, come back on anytime,
Let's do it. I
guys.
love, yeah. Thank you, Raven. I
Yeah.
loved being here. Thank you.
Okay, everybody out there, have a
Bye.
good night. Like and subscribe to my page because that's how we get the message spread. I don't care about likes and subscribes to get a YouTube plaque behind my head. I care because you're spreading the message. So share and like my page, and I will get you guys all of Janelle's information, and we will see you guys next podcast. So, everybody, have a good rest of your day, and bye, Janelle.
Bye.